There is a moment most women describe exactly the same way. Standing in front of a mirror in something they have worn for 20 years, feeling for the first time that something is subtly wrong, not the cut, not the fit. The color itself, which used to do something generous for the face, is now doing the opposite. And the explanation they keep reaching for, that they must be tired today, has started to feel like it is covering something else entirely. What actually happened has nothing to do with tiredness. It has to do with light, and specifically with what skin does to certain colors after the natural flush that lived just beneath the surface begins to fade. That flush was invisible while most women had it. They only noticed when the colors that used to borrow warmth from it started taking something instead. 8 colors work with exactly this shift. They either replace what the flush was doing, or amplify what remains. 5 others quietly exploit it, pulling warmth from a face that now has less to spare. The difference between them is not a matter of fashion, it is physics. And once the logic is visible, no dressing room will be confusing in quite the same way again. Most women have received the same piece of advice at some point. White is always clean, always fresh, always safe. The version they reach for is almost always the brightest, crispest white available. But cool, bright white does something specific against skin that has lightened and softened over the years. It creates a contrast that reveals every shadow on the face, rather than lifting the face out of it. Ivory is the correction. Its warmth mirrors the warmth still present in the skin, and that echo is what makes the face glow rather than recede. Not cream. Cream reads too casual, too soft. Not white. White reads too contrastive, too unforgiving. The specific shade that does the work sits between the two. Warm, quiet, bright enough to lift without competing. Once this distinction is clear, the habit of reaching past it on a rack becomes very difficult to maintain. Rich tones in the burgundy and deep wine range are among the most underused colors in a wardrobe past 50, which is strange given what they actually do to a face. They add warmth without overwhelming. The depth of the color creates contrast that wakes the complexion, gives it something to push against, without demanding that the garment itself be noticed. Sophia Loren wore jewel tones well into her later decades, not as fashion statements, but as a consistent instinct. She understood that depth commands a room without requiring volume. The versions that do the real work sit in the warm red-purple register, not bright fuchsia, not cool violet. The ones that look more like the color of something aged and worth drinking than like a paint chart. That distinction in undertone is the entire difference between elegant and overwhelming. There is a reason camel has been in continuous circulation for over a century, and it is not sentiment. Camel, the warm, golden tan version, not the yellow adjacent khaki, does something very specific against skin that has shifted toward neutrality. It extends the warmth of the neck and face seamlessly downward, creating a continuous column rather than a sharp boundary between skin and clothing. The effect reads as quietly expensive without being loud about it. Jackie Kennedy returned to this palette throughout her most photographed decades because she understood what it was doing. She was not choosing a neutral. She was choosing continuity. The version that works has a golden undertone, not a gray one. Gray-adjacent camels tip toward draining. Hold the fabric against the face in good light. If the face comes forward, that is the one. Navy is not a neutral in the way gray is a neutral. It works actively. It reflects a particular quality of light that flatters the full spectrum of undertones most women carry past 50. But the navy that does this is not the one on most racks. Bright, almost royal navy competes with the face instead of supporting it. The version that flatters is softer, slightly washed, slightly muted, with enough depth to anchor the look, but not enough intensity to pull the eye away from the woman wearing it. Grace Kelly returned to this shade throughout her most photographed years. She understood that soft navy was not a compromise when white felt like too much. It was its own argument for composed authority. It also has a quality in photographs that almost no other color shares. It makes the light around the face seem better than it actually was. The pinks that work past 50 share one quality. They have been somewhere. The bright ones, the sweet ones, candy pink, baby pink, anything with a blue base and a cheerful disposition. Read girlish against mature skin, or wash the face entirely by pulling against any warmth remaining in the complexion. Old Rose is an entirely different category. It is the muted, slightly grayed version of pink, halfway between pink and mauve, closer to the color of a faded silk interior than to the color of a birthday. Against silver hair, whether fully silver or in transition, it does something specific. The contrast it creates is soft but present, and that presence is what keeps the whole look from disappearing into itself. A scarf in this shade against a neutral shirt changes how the face reads from across a room without requiring anything else to change at all. This is the gap I built. The Elegant Woman 50+ protocol to close. Color is one layer, but the women who are genuinely remembered in a room are not simply the ones who found the right shade. They are the ones who understood how every layer works together, how they move, how they speak, how they dress with intention rather than habit, how they make an ordinary moment feel considered. The Elegant Woman 50+ protocol is a 30-day sequence built around that hidden architecture, with each layer installed in the right order so that elegance stops being a list of decisions and starts becoming automatic. The link is below. But there is one color most women are still wearing directly against the face out of pure reflex. And what it quietly does there is worth a very close look. Green is the category where most women either find one of their best colors or avoid the entire spectrum entirely, because the wrong greens are immediately punishing, and most women have already encountered at least one. Cool greens, mint, pale aqua, anything sharp or citrus adjacent. These drain warmth from the face and create an off quality that is hard to diagnose but impossible to miss. The green that works is sage, a gray green with warmth in its undertone, muted enough to read as sophisticated, present enough to give the face something to reflect. Against silver or transitioning hair, sage creates a botanical quietness that brighter colors cannot achieve. It is the green equivalent of soft navy, specific enough to read as intentional, calm enough to keep the face at the center. Nothing louder than moss, nothing cooler than eucalyptus. The narrow register between those 2 points is where this works, and once found, it rarely leaves the wardrobe. Not baby purple, not bright grape. The lavender that belongs in this conversation is heather, slightly grayed, slightly dusty, closer to the color of something seen at a distance than to the color of flowers at a market stall. This version has a specific relationship with gray and silver hair that is worth understanding. It does not clash with silver and does not dissolve into it. It creates a soft contrast that makes the entire look appear deliberate. Women who have gone fully silver often avoid every purple register because they fear it will compete with the hair. Heather is not competition. It is a complement. The way a gray-green hillside looks more complete beside a silver sky than beside a sharp blue one. As a scarf or collar at the face, it lifts the eyes and the skin simultaneously in a way that costs nothing except the willingness to try it. When teal tips toward the darker, denser register, petrol blue, blue-green with real depth, the color of old stained glass rather than of a swimming pool, it becomes one of the most quietly sophisticated choices available. It sits at the intersection of blue and green and takes the best of both. The authority of deep navy, the warmth of a good sage. Against the full range of skin tones that appear past 50, petrol teal reads as considered, never accidental. The shade to look for has darkness without heaviness. Think of deep water under a winter sky, or the color in the oldest tilework you have ever seen. That is the version that turns heads without announcing itself. There are 5 other colors, though, that make no announcement at all. They simply do something persistent and quiet to the face, and most women have been reaching for at least one of them for years. Cool white is the one most women keep returning to out of habit. The logic being that bright and clean always reads fresh. What it does against skin that has lost its warm undertone flush is frame every shadow more starkly. The recession around the eyes, the softening at the jawline, cool white makes these more visible, not less. The face reads washed out rather than lifted. The swap is ivory, but when there is a strong attachment to white, texture is a meaningful bridge. White in linen, slubbed silk, or cotton voile absorbs and diffuses light rather than reflecting it sharply back at the face, which softens the contrast. Texture does what the color alone cannot. The swap is still the cleaner solution, but texture gets you most of the way there without replacing anything. Black does not need to leave the wardrobe. That is not what this is. What it does, when worn directly against the face, close to the collar or the neckline, is absorb light in a way that causes the skin adjacent to it to recede rather than come forward. The hollowing effect this creates against a complexion that already carries less natural contrast than it did at 35 is specific and real, and it is not correctable with better makeup or better lighting. The adjustment is not to abandon black, but to move it away from the face itself. Black trouser, black skirt, black coat worn open with something warm beneath. A collar in ivory, a scarf in dusty rose, an open neckline over a black blouse. The face stays warm and present. Black stays structural, which is where it has always done its best work anyway. Sweet, clear pinks, bubblegum, candy pink, baby pink, do not read as soft against mature skin. They read as empty. The warmth that once made them glow has diminished, and without that warmth, the interaction between the color and the skin produces a faded, slightly off quality that is difficult to name but immediately felt. Some complexions also pick up a reddish or flushed reading against cool pink fabrics, which is the exact opposite of what was intended. The swap is old rose, muted, grounded, with a gray or warm undertone rather than a blue one. Old rose carries change the way certain wines carry age, with more character, not less. Baby pink sits there, doing nothing, asking the face to supply all the warmth. Old rose actually brings some of its own. Most women have encountered pastel yellow in a way that ended the relationship permanently, tried it on, looked slightly unwell, put it back. What they were experiencing was not yellow as a category. It was the pale, chalky school paint version, which pulls green undertones from skin that has shifted toward the warm neutral range and produces something unflattering so immediately that the instinct is to close the entire chapter. The register of yellow that works is golden, deep, warm, close to turmeric or old saffron or sunflower at the center of summer. This version adds warmth and reads as confident, as though the woman wearing it has recently been somewhere with very good light. Pastel yellow is the one to leave on the rack. Golden yellow is the one worth reconsidering from the beginning. This one tends to surprise, because warm gray and grayish read as sophisticated neutrals. And in theory, against certain undertones, they are. The difficulty is that a significant portion of women past 50 have shifted enough in their complexion that warm gray no longer has anything to offer in the exchange. There is no warmth to mirror, no depth to create. The color sits flatly against the skin without lifting it or anchoring it. The result is a kind of visual absence. The clothes are there, the woman is there, but nothing in the combination directs the eye toward the face. The swap is camel. Same territory, Same ease, same quiet intention, but with enough golden warmth to keep the face present in the room. A camel knit instead of a greige one. A warm tan trouser instead of a flat gray one. Same sensibility, entirely different result. Every color on this list works through the same logic. What the skin can offer a color determines whether that color lifts or drains. The women who have always seemed to wear their clothes effortlessly were not born knowing this. They were women who, at some point, stopped choosing colors because they liked them and started choosing colors because of what those colors were going to do. That distinction is small. It happens entirely inside a wardrobe, in the light, before anyone else is in the room. And it changes everything reached for from that point forward. The understanding you leave with today is real. The physics of what colors do to a face that has changed is not something that needs to be guessed at anymore. But color is one layer of something much larger. The women who are genuinely unforgettable in a room are not the ones who found the right shade. They are the ones who installed every layer in the right order. How they move through a room, how they speak, how they dress with intention, how they receive a guest, how they hold a conversation, how they make an ordinary evening feel considered. That is what I built the Elegant Woman 50+ protocol to address. I put it together after working with too many women who could identify exactly what was pulling their presence down and still could not rebuild it, because everything they found was general when they needed specific. The protocol is 30 days, one layer at a time. The physical layer of how you occupy a room, the conversational layer of how you command attention without competing for it, the domestic layer of how the spaces around you reflect what you carry. The mechanism is the refinement stack. When each layer is installed in the right order, elegance stops looking effortful and starts becoming the natural condition. It is not about looking younger. It costs something because building it took real time. The link is below.